welcome to Mythology and Folklore of Danny Hoots. I'm Danny Hoots, and today we'll be talking about the Irish werewolves Faoladh. I hope I pronounced it right. If I did not, please let me know in the comments because I want to know how this is pronounced. I looked it up and was having trouble, and I think I found it. But first, to give you a little backstory on wolves in Ireland. There actually used to be more wolves than people in Ireland up to the Middle Ages. It used to be known as Wolfland as a nickname for Ireland. The Old Irish word for wolf was McTire, which meant son of the countryside. The reason there were so many wolves was because there used to be so many forests. Forests bring plants, plants bring deer, deer bring predators, and wolves are predators, of course. It was in the 1300s that the culling of wolves happened in England, and they killed all the wolves. Then in Scotland, 1680, they were all destroyed. And then when the English made it to Ireland to take over, they decided, destroy all the wolves here too. They offered £6 for female wolves, which was a lot back then. £5 for male, £3 and £2 for cubs. And by 1786, all of the wolves in Ireland were destroyed. Their environmentalists are trying to reintroduce wolves to Ireland. They're doing that in quite a few places, but including the Grand Canyon area, because I'm in Arizona. Now, although a lot of folk tales in Europe saw wolves or werewolves as ferocious beings or evil and needed to be defeated, that's not quite true in the stories in Ireland. For the most part, they were pretty good and just well-mannered or just acted like normal wolves, needing to eat, just normal activities. People saw them as guardians and protectors over children, the wounded, and lost souls. And for the most part, I didn't see anything about the moon having to do with anything for shifting, but either people were cursed and they could only shift into a wolf for a period of time, or they couldn't turn back to a human for a period of time because they were cursed, or they could shift whenever they wanted. It just depended on the story and who it was. There's only a few stories that I could find on them, and they're not really like the Strigoi because they're good, so it seems like to me when looking up stories, anything that's good doesn't have many details, and anything bad, they have a lot of details on how to kill them, like the Strigoi. So the first story took place in 1182. And there was a priest that was traveling through Ireland, and he was just getting town from town. And he was setting up a fire for the night, and a wolf comes up to him and starts speaking. Now, personally, if a wolf started speaking to me, I'd be a little freaked out. But he was less freaked out because the wolf wasn't going to attack him, which is fair. The wolf explained that he needed the priest to perform last rites for the female wolf that was his companion. And he's like, what? So the wolf explained he was from Ossory and was cursed by Saint Natalis. And every 7 years, a female and male would transform into a wolf. And for 7 years, they would be that wolf. Once the 7 years were up, they turned back to human. And 2 new people in the town would then become wolves. So the priest was like, all right, I'll perform last rites for your companion. And he did so, and the wolf brought him supplies, and so the priest was like, this was actually a good wolf, and wrote to the Pope about it, but there's no record if the Pope ever responded. In another story, there was a young farmer with the name of Connor who went out to his field and saw that there were 2 cows missing from his, not flock, group. There was 2 cows missing. And so he searched for miles and miles and just could not find the cows. There's no trace. He couldn't hear them. But it was starting to become dark, and he was not nearby any other farm. He wasn't near his farm, and he didn't know what to do. He saw this like small little shack that was just made of like wood pieces and moss, and he's like, I don't know if I want to stay there at night. But he saw a light, and he's like, well, it's the only place I'll be able to stay, keep warm for the night. So he knocks on the door, and this very elderly man and woman come out, and they're like, oh, we were expecting you. Now, personally, I would run, but he didn't. So he's like, yeah, I was out here, and I just need a place to stay. And they're like, oh, come in, we're about to have dinner. So he comes in, and they're setting up for dinner, and just as he sits down for dinner, there's a knock on the door. The old man goes and opens the door, and a wolf comes in. And the guy's like, what? And as the wolf comes in, he transforms into this young man. And before Connor could say anything, another knock at the door, and another wolf comes in and transforms into even a younger man. Connor is very confused, doesn't know what to do, but it just stays there in shock. So finally, they all sit down. The old man's like, this is my family. This is Connor, I guess. Connor, why are you here? And so Connor explained, there's 2 cows missing. I'm looking for them. I don't know if they're still alive. And so all the family just starts laughing at him. This makes Connor angry. Personally, I would be like, yeah. But I guess I'm not Connor. So Connor's like, why are you guys laughing at me? And the youngest man there says, do you remember saving a young wolf pup a long time ago? And the guy's like, yeah, I guess. Well, that wolf pup was me, and I will help you out with your cows. And Connor's like, okay, I don't know what you're going to do, but okay. And so he spends the rest of the night there, and he wakes up in the middle of his field and confused and thinks maybe that was just a dream. And so then Connor goes and looks for the cows to see if there's any cows to see if the wolf brought anything, and his cows aren't there. But then he suddenly notices 2 new cows, and he thinks, oh, it must be the neighbor's cattle. I should go shoo them back. And so he goes to try to shoo them back when a young wolf is like herding them back and making them stay. And so Connor realizes, oh, the wolf brought me these. I'm in mine now. And he's thankful to the wolf, and then rest of the wolf's lives, they brought him treats and prosperity until all the wolves were killed. Because that was supposed to be during Connor's time as well. Now, there were some stories that were actually not so nice. These werewolves were called the Faoladh, and they were warriors, mercenaries, really, that were ruthless in battle and would just kill, not even for money. They actually would ask for the flesh of newborns. This probably was due to, like, the stories I think would come from either mercenaries who were just ruthless, or even that might have been during the time the Vikings were coming down, and they could be ruthless as well. But they would work for any king that would hire them and give them newborns, apparently. And they could shift into wolves whenever they pleased. So this is a little different than the other werewolves of Ireland. These, I feel like they're not really that connected. They might still be in Ireland, but this, like, the wolf spirit of those group versus, like, the rest of the stories seem a lot different. But they could be connected. So that is as much as I could find about werewolves in Ireland. I hope you enjoyed. If you know anything else or find anything else, please link it in the comments. I would love to learn more. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a happy Halloween.